Hello, hello. Laura Brandenburg here from Bridging the Gap. And I am here live again today to chat about what actions to take when and making the most of the actions you take. So if you've joined our limited time free training, you have a free download called The Secrets to Business Analyst Success. And if you don't, I'll put a link in the comments below. And in there are 17 opportunities, 17 different ideas of things that you could be doing right now to take action and add more value in your career and find more success in your career. So which one makes sense for you, or which ones make sense for you, right? Because there's a little bit of discretion that we want to apply here of picking the ones that are going to make the most value for you. So I've been looking in the group, and if you're new to the group, welcome. Go ahead and be sure to introduce yourself, to say hi as you join the video. Hi, Emma. Hi, Eric. And let us know a little bit more about what you're looking for. But from the comments I've seen so far, I've seen people who aren't yet business analysts and are looking to become business analysts. People who are in a brand new role or just starting new roles, congratulations. People who are more experienced but are kind of looking for that next level. Like, what does the next level look like? And one of the key issues that's come up there a couple of times is stakeholder management. So I'm going to talk about what opportunities would you use if stakeholder management is kind of one of the issues you're facing in a more experienced BA role. And you might see me look to the side here a few times because I've got my list of the opportunities there to refer to. I didn't print it out. I have my notes in front of me, but I have that over there. So if I want to refer to a specific number or something, I'll do that. Feel free to chime in with a question or a comment if you have them. I always love to hear your feedback, and it allows me to give you a little extra coaching while we're on the video today. Okay, so what if you're not yet a business analyst, right? This is a really common challenge. I'm not yet a business analyst. How can I get started as a business analyst? All the roles out there, most of them require experience, right? So what do I do? So the very first set on the opportunities list is really for you, like creating a process flow diagram, scheduling a meeting, clarifying the assignments that you have been assigned. So a lot of times our managers will just be like, can you do this thing? And it's like a really ambiguous assignment, right? Think of that as like an opportunity to clarify the requirements. What are the requirements of this assignment? And go back and ask some questions or create a quick description of what you think that assignment is, a lot like a requirements document. And sorry about that. And go ahead and have that as something that can be reviewed, right? So you're starting to act like a business analyst as you do that. But one of the most common opportunities we see for people, regardless of their job role, is to analyze a business process. And if you don't know what that looks like, you're in luck, because part 2 of our free training that goes live tomorrow, we're going to include our business process template, and we are also going to walk you through exactly how to do that in an abbreviated version. We go way more in depth in our training, but you'll have enough to like get started on that process and be applying it. So good there. And I'm going to talk about that a lot because so often, like, this is the next thing to do. And this is why it's often the course that we teach people first. So what if you're in a new role though? So that's if you're not yet a business analyst, but like working in a different area and want to do more business analysis. What if you're in a new role? So one of the things I always tell people who are in brand new roles is you want to be sure that you're adding value quickly. So understanding what problem is it that you were hired to solve, which understanding the problem to be solved is doing business analysis, right? So why am I here? What are the requirements for this role? What is the biggest possible need that I can serve right away? And so regardless of like your frame for the role or your frame for your career, when you're in a new job and a new employer, you want to make sure that you're solving a problem quickly that allows you to add value really quickly. It might feel like it's not really the hat that you signed up for, but it allows you to establish that early credibility. And then from there, you can branch out and start educating people more about business analysis and kind of where you want to go with your career and expanding your role in the direction you want to take it. But always want to be adding value quickly. So again, clarifying the assignments that you're assigned. A lot of times we feel, especially in a new role, like we should just know what everything means, right? And we should just know what that, like, oh, well, they asked me to do a use case and I better figure out what that is. Well, we teach one way of doing use cases, and I'm going to show you some examples in part 3 of our free training. But there's quite honestly, there's like different ways of doing that throughout different companies. And sometimes managers use case in a way that doesn't actually even make sense. One of our instructors, I won't name the instructor, but she's like, my boss uses use cases really to describe scenarios. And I've been trying to explain to her that this is not what a use case is, but it's just an education thing. So people will use those terms inconsistently too. It's really frustrating. So it's okay to clarify assignments. That's why I'm telling you that. You want to know what those practices are, but it might not mean that you understand perfectly what the expectation is. And so you can use that confidence you have in what that is to ask clarifying questions and to clarify what's truly expected in that role. Again, analyze the business process for your role, right? Think through the steps. What are the handoffs? What's happening before I work? What's happening after I work? Understanding the full breadth of your role. And one of the things I love to do when I'm in a new organization is start a glossary. A lot of organizations don't have glossaries, or if they do, they're really outdated. Nobody's touched them in a while. So you can start a glossary of the key terms that people are using as they talk to you, and it gives you a filter to start understanding the business domain and the technical domain. It was Sarah who commented, like, I'm expected to know everything. Even though I've been in this organization for a while, it feels like a lot to know. A glossary is a great tool to keep that knowledge, to keep that terminology, and to develop that terminology. Okay. What else? So that's if you're not yet a BA, if you're in a new business analyst role. What if you're more experienced? What should you be looking at there? So one of the things that's down at number 14 of the list is to be analyzing your business process for potential improvements. And this is your business analysis process, right? So how does business analysis work in your organization? And if there is no process for business analysis or no structured approach, you can start by defining what that is, and that is in itself an improvement. We talk about that in the business process analysis module, that sometimes just defining the process improves the process because it clarifies things. And that might be work that you apply to the work you do as a business analyst or the business analyst on your team. So I'd start there and then look for what are the improvements you can make? Where can you be more consistent? Where can you be sure you're involving all the right stakeholders? And I want to talk about stakeholder management specifically because it's come up in so many threads here just in the last couple of days. So how do we actually engage stakeholders, right? And what are our responsibilities as a business analyst when it comes to stakeholder management? So one of the things is just to identify who needs to be involved at each stage of the requirements process. So who needs to be involved in identifying the business needs? Usually that's a higher level stakeholder. What's the goal of this project? What problem are we trying to solve? What's the opportunity here? What's the budget and the scope, right? All those big picture questions. But then once you get into an individual process or an individual use case or an individual part of the data model, right? Who are the subject matter experts that have the information about this area of the business or this area of the project? Who is going to be doing the work to use this system or to execute this business process, or managing the people who are executing this business process once the project is complete? Right? Those are the people that you want to be talking to, that you need to be talking to. You need to understand how their work flows today, what the problems are with that work, what they see as the root cause of those problems, what they would like to have fixed, what they see as the opportunities, and getting their buy-in every step along the way on that change, because that change is going to happen and you want that change to reflect their true needs and wants as much as possible, as much as is appropriate for that project. So that's what engagement looks like, right? But it's not just splatter across the wall, I have a bunch of people, I'm going to ask a question. It's really looking at who's involved in this process and what's their role and what's their stake. Like a stakeholder has a stake in the project. What's their stake and what do they care about and why do they care about that? And when you start to identify that and get clear on that, it gets a lot easier to have their engagement. Now, another way it gets easier to get their engagement is by using analytical tools. So one of them is business process analysis and workflow diagrams. Again, we're going to be teaching that tomorrow in the free training. And so that's a great tool to get people engaged, to get people, you can start on a whiteboard with here's the first step and here's the last step. What happens in between? And you might be like, that's so obvious. Who's going to tell me what happens in between? One of our course participants was like, Laura, I thought you were crazy, but I did what you said. I like drew 2 boxes down on a sheet of paper, and I asked my 2 people who were in the room, what happens in between? And they just started talking, and all of a sudden we had this like massive mess of detail, right? So it's a great way to start asking those questions. And that's the thing, is it's not just the model, it's not coming up with the model, it's also using the model as a tool to ask specific questions. And when you get an I don't know or a brush off, like bringing people back to the model. So I see we go from here to here, but it's not clear to me what this piece is. And that model becomes really a touchstone and a confidence building tool. Okay, so that's what I had to share with you today. If you haven't yet downloaded the opportunities, go ahead and do that. It's in part 1 of the free training. And I'm going to add a link to this post. I should have done that when I started, but I will add a link to this post with the link to the free training in case you don't already have it. If you do, you should have a link in your email, and you'll be able to go through the video, get a little bit more detail in the video, and download those opportunities as well, because I only talked maybe about 5 or 6 that are covered there. There's quite a few others that are on there, and maybe one of those would be a good fit for you as well. But the idea is to choose something that moves you forward, right? That helps you take the next step, that helps you get more confident by taking action. And if you're experiencing any resistance to that, or any challenges to that, or any roadblocks to that, those are great things to be posting in the comments below or inside the group here, so that I can help you work through that, because I'm going to be doing coaching here inside the month of February as we get ready to open up our session of the Business Analyst Blueprint. So super excited to be able to offer this value add for free to our community, and thank you for being here. If you have any other questions, go ahead and post them below, but I'm going to sign off for now, because I'm getting on a call here in just a few minutes, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye everyone.